Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hand Spinner Review Spot YouTube channel. You can head over to our Facebook page, which is linked in the description below, for all manner of other things, and please give us a like and a subscribe here if you'd like to keep up to date with what we're doing or you enjoy it. Today we're going to look at something really unique and one that I've been procrastinating over reviewing because it really is something quite unusual. This is the Amber Spinner by Amber Mods. So, before we get into this, really interesting, very much handcrafted sterling silver spinner, let's look at it as a size comparison with a few others. Okay, so there it is next to a stubby, and we'll bring in a zero feud compass, the tri-cocoon from Pos Blades, there we've got a Vorso flat top. It will make some sense to do some tries, considering it's slightly unusual in terms of its overall outline. There it is next to a tri-stubby, and should we put it next to a Turnian as well? Yeah, I suppose that makes some sense, doesn't it? There we go. So, that gives you an idea, and at this point, we now diverge, because all of those other spinners are really about precision engineering, maximising the spin potential of the overall design, everything being incredibly well made in terms of repeatability and all of that kind of thing, high-end engineering kind of processes. This spinner here from Amber Mods, who are a Polish company who make mods for the vape scene and all of that kind of thing, is very different. This is a handcrafted, sculpted spinner from 0.925 sterling silver. 0.925 is within the sterling grade of silver, and it's made by producing a piece like this and then casting from that, and then using a matrix mold to repeat that process to get relatively consistent examples like this. Then after that mould has been sorted and this piece has come out of it, once it's had the sterling silver poured in, there's then lots of post-finishing work and some patina work done to give it this nice finish. Now, getting to the actual spinner side of things, this is a 29 gram piece. As you can see, it's quite slender in profile. If I get something like the stubby next to it, you can hopefully see there that they are very, very different in terms of their overall approach. And really, this is a very different spinner in terms of its approach, full stop. I haven't handled a spinner like this that is really effectively handmade, and that brings with it some difficulties but also some charm, and that's why this has actually been quite a difficult review to make sense of, because in certain ways that I would normally judge a spinner, I should be saying that I don't like this, and in other ways I absolutely love it, and it's a really difficult one to review. So bear with me, and we'll just quickly talk about the way it's constructed. As I say, I've talked about how it's actually made, but then the bearing itself, which is obviously quite an important thing in a spinner, this is a 2688 full ceramic bearing. Full ceramic bearings are something which I'm not generally a huge fan of, and that's something that we'll come back to here, but it's another thing that I'm not massively enthusiastic about here either. Then we've got these buttons which are glued in place, although I'm told by the maker that there are plans afoot to make these magnetic. That would be a really, really big upside for this, and something which I'd love to see. The bearing underneath here, I'm told, is still left shielded, and so just a quick glance at this design, we know almost straight away, bearing in mind that it's quite light, that although the mass is centered out here, there's lots and lots of mass in the interior section as well. It's not likely to be a long spinner, and absolutely, this is one of the shortest spinners that I've handled for some time, but in some ways, I like that, and I'll explain why. This is actually really, really nice to handle. In some ways, I think of this as much as a meditative sort of worry stone handling device as I do a spinner. It's lovely just to run your finger around the buttons. It really, I mean, I'm getting about 40 seconds or so out of this. Now, I firmly believe that if I was able to take these buttons off, and I really don't want to force them, to be absolutely honest, and I de-shielded that bearing, I dare say it would probably do better than that. Equally, if it had a hybrid ceramic in it, it would probably do better still. But obviously, it being handmade, it's not precision balanced. It doesn't have a perfectly smooth single finger spin. As you can see, there's some wobble there. But hopefully you can also see how beautiful the patterns are that come off of it as it spins. It's just fantastic to look at. And then on top of that, the way that it launches is unique as well. You know, in some ways you'd want to, flick it from these flat portions or something like that, but that's not terribly comfortable. What you actually end up doing is just putting your finger into some of the beautiful organic pattern that you have coming out from this central area here, and just pulling back on the actual pattern itself, and it's just lovely. I end up in a situation where, by all normal parameters that I would do one of these reviews, this isn't as stable as, almost anything else I've shown you. In fact, it isn't as stable as anything else. And it's just not what you'd normally expect to see on this channel. It's something new, something fresh, and personally, I just think it's something very artistic, and maybe somewhere that the spinner world should consider going a little bit more. Because as much as we all love pieces like this, there is something quite special about handling something that's clearly so handmade and had so much artistry put into it. And when we talk about the idea of a fidget spinner being something which you can fidget with, that's relaxing, that helps with your concentration, that's just enjoyable in hand, if you aren't looking for a long spinner, I really think that this is really worth considering. If you like the way that it looks, and personally I struggle to see how you wouldn't like how that works, and I'll put a few more pictures that I've taken of this up on the Facebook page so you can have a closer look at it, because it's a wonderful thing to photograph. I really like it. I really like the Amber Mods logo. I really like the overall design. I think the execution's lovely, and it's just something truly unique in the hand. And I think one of the things which is kind of a proof to me is that everyone I've handed this to, who isn't particularly into spinners but likes maybe just the idea of something to play with, they all universally really like this. It makes a big impression, and I think that maybe says something that we should all take note of when it comes to hand spinners. And if there's people watching this that do this kind of work, please try your hand, do something in your own artistic style in much the same way that these guys have, and put it out there for people to see, because this is absolutely lovely. And when you receive this alongside, I say this is sterling silver, which makes it even more special, you receive it alongside this pouch here, which is a traditional coin pouch in Poland, I'm told. And you can see you have the Amber Mods, really interesting kind of mosquito logo there, and then the Amber Mods name there. It's a little slip pouch, and then you've got a little, there we go, you've got a little laminated card that tells you about this piece. It feels quite special, and I think for the price that he's charging, and I'll link you in the description below to the page for these, where you can see all of the details and everything else. For the price that he's charging for a sterling silver piece of this quality, if you know all of the things about it and the unique things that it brings to the table in terms of spinners as a whole, I think this is a beautiful piece for a lot of collections, and I can't see this one leaving my collection anytime soon. So thank you very much, guys. I know, very difficult one to review this, and I kind of feel like I haven't given you as much of a great picture of it as I'd like to, but hopefully you have an idea, and hopefully you know if this sort of thing might be for you. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.